trauma. If a parent has experienced some level of trauma in their personal life, how do they ensure that they don't transfer that in their parenting style to their children or in their relationship as an adult environment?
Well, I think recognizing, and there's a whole spectrum of trauma, it's all relative. And so oftentimes I'll have a client maybe show up and say, well, you know, this happened, but like, it's not as bad as ... And I'm like, hey, we're not in the trauma Olympics here. It's how your nervous system navigates it or experiences it. That's what we look at to define if it's traumatic or not for you. To not transfer it to our kids, we really need to be self-aware and lean into resources, because parenting is so triggering. I mean, if you think you're floating along, maybe if you can even handle a partnered relationship just fine, you get into parenting and boom, like you will get your stuff activated. And I look at that as an invitation to heal and grow. Like, there's something about parenting, because a lot of our trauma is experienced in relationship and oftentimes from our own parents. And so we need to heal that in order to not transfer it. We need to navigate that healing and growing and skill building in order to not. So for example, I was a very raised in a pretty reactive household. Just everything was kind of a big deal, not a lot of self-regulation happening. And when I went into parenting, I got married at 20, had my first at 22, quite young. I was like, oh, I don't want that. I want to be a patient, kind, calm parent. Well, when your kid's throwing a fit in the middle of the grocery store and all eyes are on you,
you go back to what you know.
You're in your amygdala. You're in the part of your brain that's very reactive, because I hadn't built the skills to regulate and do something differently. I can't just say, no, I don't want to show up like that. I don't want to transfer trauma to my kids. And then that's enough. I actually have to put action behind that desire. And so if I don't have the skills to, one, regulate myself in that moment and then co-regulate with my child, I'm going to keep transferring it. I'm going to spank them. I'm going to yank them out of the grocery store and do all kinds of things, right?
Right.
Whatever it was that I was raised with, until I build replacement skills. And so I worked really hard on that because it didn't feel good. I didn't like going to bed knowing I just lost it with my kid for the upteenth time at bedtime because they just wouldn't go to bed. Right. It wasn't feeling good to parent that way. So I'm just a knowledge seeker. I'm like, all right, give me the books. That was back in, my oldest is 24. So the internet was just barely available to search things. So there wasn't even a lot of access like parents have now. So it was just the Wild West back then, but I figured it out.